Look at this sentence and tell me which answer will you choose. Plank مهذبة. مهذبة means polite. And from the tight ta or التاء المربوطة, we understand that this word is a feminine singular. So which answer will it be? It seems confusing, right? Don't worry. In today's lesson, we will learn the correct answer of this question as well as many different exercises. Stay with me. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mustafa Nasser speaking from Arabic Pronouns. Welcome to a new practical lesson about Arabic pronouns. Today, I will summarize some important key points about Arabic pronouns and we together will solve some exercises. There is a PDF file that contains a summary of today's lesson. You will find the link in the video description below. You can always check the video description for additional resources and for my social media accounts. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, activate the bell, and like the video. Let's begin. In lesson number 4 of this course, we studied classification of Arabic pronouns. There are two main classes of Arabic pronouns, obvious, بارز, and hidden, مستتر. The obvious one is the one you see in the sentence with your own eyes, while the hidden, you don't see it but you understand from the context it exists. And then the obvious type is further classified into two main classes, separate, منفصل, and connected, متصل. منفصل is the pronoun itself is a separate word, while connected, it shows up as a suffix that's connected to another word. Today, we will focus on the separate obvious pronouns. Working with them is straightforward and doesn't have any confusion. Let's review all of them first. In Arabic, any type of derivation, like conjugation, pronouns, adjectives, and so on, we have to consider two features, number and gender. Number, we have in Arabic three types, singular, mufrad, dual, مثنى, and plural, جمع. And each one of these numbers is further divided into the two categories of gender, masculine and feminine. So 3 times 2 making 6. These are the 6 classifications we have in Arabic pronouns here. Masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine dual, feminine dual, masculine plural, and feminine plural. And also we have first person, second person, and third person. For first person, we have only two, أنا and نحن. أنا is used for the singular, whether it's a masculine or feminine, and نحن is used for both dual and plural. So in first person, we don't need to look for gender. As long as we check the number, it's okay. So if it's 1, we only use أنا, and if it's more than 1, we use نحن. Moving now to second person, we have أنت for masculine singular, أنتِ for feminine singular. The only difference is the label of the last letter ت. Here فتحة and here كسرة. And for the dual, it's only one pronoun for both genders, أنتما. And then for the plural, we have two, أنتم for masculine plural and أنتن for feminine plural. And the same case in third person, هو for masculine singular, هي for feminine singular. And also for the dual, it's only one pronoun for both genders, هما, هما. And for the plural, we have هم for masculine plural and hunna for feminine plural. I have two notes before we go to the exercises here about Arabic pronouns. The first one is, if you check for the dual, you will see all dual in every person are using one single pronoun. In first person, it's used only نحن, in second person أنتما, and in third person هما. So in dual, once we check the number as dual, there is no need to check for the gender. Why? Because both duals are using the same pronouns. And the second note is, all these separate pronouns show up in the beginning of the sentence as a subject, مبتدأ. You will never see them in the middle of the sentence or at the end. So now let me give you some tips and tricks on how to identify the right pronouns for your sentence. In order to choose the right pronoun for our sentence, we need to identify the type of the person first, whether it's a first person متكلم, a second person مخاطب, or a third person غائب. This can be done by checking the context of the sentence, and then we need to check for our two features, number and gender. In lesson number 2 of this course, I gave you 3 signs of feminine nouns. They are the tight تاء, التاء المربوطة, the elongated ألف, ألف التأنيث الممدودة, and the shortened ألف, الألف المقصورة. And I told you once you see one of these 3 signs at the end of a word, it's mostly a feminine singular. Like the first one, Fatima and Jamila. But there are some words that end up with a tight ta, but they are masculine, like Usama and Hamza. Both of them are popular proper nouns. For ألف التأنيث الممدودة, we have the feminine of all colors. Usually use ألف التأنيث الممدودة, such as حمراء, red, زرقاء, صفراء, سوداء, and so on. And we have also some adjectives end with ألف التأنيث الممدودة, like شقراء, which means blonde. And lastly, we have الألف المقصورة, which looks like letter ياء but without the 2 dots below. And we pronounce it as ألف, like سلمى, حلوى. But also there are some words that end up with الألف المقصورة, but they are masculine, like مصطفى and Musa and even عيسى. So once you see one of these 3 signs, mostly the word is feminine singular. 2 additional points I would like to mention here. First, we said names of continents, countries, and cities are feminine by default. So once you see a country name or a city name, you know that you're going for feminine singular pronouns. And second, we said many parts of the body are also feminine by default, like يد, عين, and رأس, head. Okay, let's now move to the dual. Moving now to dual and plural, I'm trying to give you the indications through which you will identify the number and gender so that it will be easy for you to choose the right pronoun. In dual, we said there is a specific suffix we add to the singular in order to get or drive the dual, like the word طالب. If we add alif nun, it will become طالبان, and طالبة we add alif nun to be طالبتان. To differentiate between masculine dual and feminine dual, we check the suffix. In case of masculine, we will only see alif nun, and in case of feminine, we see ta before the suffix. So we can say that masculine dual ends with alif nun, while feminine dual ends with ta alif nun. However, we don't need to check for gender in case of dual. Why? Because as we mentioned previously, in case of dual, there is only one pronoun we are using for both genders. In case of first person, we are using نحن, second person we use أنتما, and third person we use هما. So there is no need to check for gender. Once we see the suffix alif nun at the end of any word, mostly this word is dual. So we will go for the pronouns of duals. Moving now to the plural, we have 2 types of intact plurals. Intact masculine plural, which ends with one of 2 suffixes, waw nun or ya nun, like معلمون or معلمين. And the intact feminine plural, it ends with alif ta, like معلمات. And these 2 intact plurals are used for humans only. And also we have a third type of plural which we call broken plural, جمع التكسير. And some of the broken plurals ends with these 2 suffixes like قوانين and أصوات. As you can see, this word قوانين ends with ya nun, which is the suffix for intact masculine plural, and أصوات ends with alif ta, which is the suffix for intact feminine plural, and yet they are not intact plurals. What about the broken plural? How can we identify the gender of this plural? We can identify the gender using the context. Some broken plurals are feminine and others are masculine, like رجال and نساء. Obviously, these two plurals are not one of these two intact because they don't have the suffix, so they are broken plurals. But this one, رجال, is obviously a masculine because it refers to masculine, and نساء, women, it's obviously a feminine. What if we have a combined or mixed plural like الناس, people? How can we identify the gender of this word? Once we have a combined plural, we treat it as masculine. So if we have a group of feminine and among them it's only one male, so we will treat the whole group as masculine. Masculine dominates feminine. I have one last point about plurals in Arabic. Non-human plurals are treated as feminine singular. Yes, don't be surprised. So when we have a plural that refers to non-humans, we treat them as feminine singular, which means we will choose the pronouns of feminine singulars, which are أنا, أنتِ, and هي. And as long as non-human plurals are treated as third person, you cannot find them as first or second person, so obviously we will use هي. Like these two examples, هي أزهار جميلة. It's beautiful flowers. The word أزهار is a plural, means flowers, and yet we chose هي. We didn't say هم, because as we said, non-humans are feminine singular. And also the adjective جميلة is also a feminine singular. We didn't say جميلات. And the second example, هذه هي الكتب المفيدة. This is the useful books. We are not saying these are the useful books. In Arabic, we use feminine singular pronouns and conjugations for non-human plurals. هذه هي الكتب. الكتب is the non-human plural, means books. المفيدة, useful. So as you see, we choose the demonstrative noun for feminine singular, هذه. We didn't say هؤلاء. And we choose the pronoun as feminine singular, هي. We didn't say هم. And also the adjective المفيدة, we choose it as feminine singular. As you can see, it ends with تاء مربوطة. I hope now this summary was okay for you. You will find it all in the PDF file in the video description. Now let's see one exercise. Back to our initial question, blank مهذبة. We agreed that مهذبة is a feminine singular. But the problem is 3 of the options can be used for feminine singular. But this one is for first person, أنا, أنتِ for second person, and هي for third person. So first, we need to determine the type of the person in this sentence. Unfortunately, there is no any indication that tells us which type or which person here in this sentence, which means 3 of them can work in different situations. Like if I decide to add a proper noun before the blank, like Fatima, for example. Now the speech is directed to Fatima, which means it's a second person. So the answer will be أنتِ. Fatima, أنتِ مهذبة. Fatima, you are polite. Let's move to another example. In this exercise, we need to change this pronoun أنا into all separate pronouns we know. Now, this one is used for which type or which gender? Is it masculine or feminine? Can we tell from the pronoun أنا? No, because أنا is used for both masculine singular and feminine singular. But we can identify the gender from this word. مجتهد is masculine. What if the one who speaks is a female? So it's going to be the same pronoun أنا, because as we said, it's used for both singulars, masculine and feminine. But what about مجتهد? Let's type it. Is it going to be the same? No, we will change it to be feminine by adding what? The tie تا. أنا مجتهدة. This is if one female or one lady is talking about herself. So the signs or the labels will be the same for the pronoun. What about for مجتهدة? We said once we add the tight ta, the letter before will have فتحة, and then all the labels will move the same. مجتهدة. أنا مجتهدة. What about for dual? Dual is using نحن for both genders. So we will repeat it twice. نحن. And what about the adjective مجتهد? For masculine dual, what will it be? It will be مجتهدان. We will add the suffix. We will take this one the same, مجتهد, and then we will add the suffix for dual, which is ألف نون. مجتهدان. What about the labels or الحركات are going to be the same. And this one is fixed to be كسرة. نحن مجتهدان. What about two females? Let's check. This one, of course, will be نحن. I will write the answer and then I will ask you a question. نحن مجتهدتان. Now the question is, here is the suffix ألف نون, from where this ta come from. Can you answer this question? The rule is to take the singular, which is مجتهدة, and then to add the suffix, which is ألف نون. Let's take it. Here is the singular, because we are talking about feminine, so we will take the feminine singular. نحن مجتهدة. And then we will add the suffix for dual, which is ألف نون. But when we add the suffix, this tight ta is no longer the last letter of the word. And we mentioned in lesson number 2 that it gains this shape only when it's the last letter of the word. But now, after adding the suffix, it's no longer the last letter, which means it will get back its original shape, which is the ta, normal ta letter. مجتهدة تان. And also the labels will be the same. Okay, now we finish for singular and for dual. What about plural? Plural for first person are using the same pronoun, نحن. Let's repeat it twice. Okay, what about plural masculine? We will add the suffix واو نون or ياء نون. Here, as long as it's a predicate of this nominal sentence, it's going to be the first suffix, واو نون, because it's a nominative case. We will take the singular, مجتهد, and then we will add the suffix for masculine plural, which is واو نون, مجتهدون. The label for نحن will be the same, fixed. For مجتهدون are going to be the same, except this one is fixed to be فتحة. And lastly, the feminine plural. We will use the suffix ألف تا. We will take this one and then we will add the suffix ألف تا. But before that, the first step is to remove the tight ta and then to add our suffix. نحن مجتهدات. And also, the labels are going to be the same. Okay, this is the process for adding pronouns for first person. What about second person and third person? All we need to do is to remove these pronouns and replace them with the pronouns of second person and also the pronouns of third person. Let's do it together for second person, and I will leave the third person to do it yourself. The first one is masculine singular. Second person will have أنت. And for feminine singular will be NT. Here is فتحة and here is كسرة. What about for dual? For dual, it's only one pronoun, which is أنتما. It's used for both masculine and feminine. أنتما مجتهدان and أنتما مجتهدتان. What about for plural? For plural, we have two different pronouns, one for masculine and one for feminine. For masculine, we use أنتم, and for feminine, we use أنتن. Okay, we didn't change anything in these predicates or these words because we already did the required changes. So now, if you want to use the pronouns for third persons, we will change these pronouns for second person and replace them with the equivalent pronouns for third person. I will leave this exercise for you to do it yourself. Now, I hope this lesson gave you some insights and this exercise give you a little exercise and revision about the previous lessons. Don't forget to download the PDF file. It's really helpful and I summarized everything. And you will also find some additional exercise in this PDF. Don't forget also to subscribe my channel, activate the bell, and like the video. I'll see you later.